Okay, so let's start by reacting to the video that Kaceytron shared. This is the video that I like quote tweeted yesterday that started the whole shitstorm. So let's go. Let's see this evil person who deserves to be homeless. Let's listen to her and let's revel in her misery, shall we? As seems to be the norm on Twitter these days, and from the H3 audience.
Okay. So, first of all, my intention of this statement is not to blame Ethan Klein or accuse him of malicious conduct, so please refrain from making any hateful posts about him. If he believes he has a copyright claim, he is entitled to pursue it. My intention is to shed some light on the financial strain this is causing me.
So, I mean, right away, she's saying she's not about to criticize Ethan Klein in any way. She says that if he thinks he has a claim, she's not here to question it. She's just here to share her story. What a horrible person she is.
And my family, and also why I made a settlement offer to Ethan, causing me and my family, and also why I made a settlement offer to Ethan. So when this lawsuit began, it was unclear how myself and my family were going to survive this.
Is the volume okay, by the way? Can you guys hear? Let me maybe turn it up a little bit.
It is only due to the unbelievable generosity of others that I have been able to afford the devastating financial effects of this lawsuit. I will forever be grateful for the kindness and support that I've received during this dark time in my life. We have raised just over $49,000 on my GoFundMe. I have also contributed another $5,000 from various marathons and fundraising, bringing the total up to $54,000. All of these funds were deposited into a separate bank account that I opened.
By the way, let's open this up real quick. So the goal, I remember the original goal was, I think, about 100K or maybe 150K. It's now been up to $250,000. That must mean that the lawyer expenses are much higher than was originally anticipated. This lawsuit seems like it's going to drag out for a long time, as she's going to say later in the video. So the fact that she needs $250,000 is honestly, like, frankly insane. Insane, 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 insane. For something that Ethan could have solved over DMs or a phone call or an email exchange. And in fact, I forgot to save these earlier, but like Ethan literally rejected Kaceytron's settlement offers like out of pettiness. I've sent these to myself. I just have to save them. Just 1 second. 1 second. I'm just gonna save them on my desktop. Fuck it. I got no time. But look at just, I mean, before we continue with Kaceytron talking about the settlement, just look how sick this is from Ethan. So at one point, I found this on Twitter, by the way. So Kaceytron had tweeted, hearing people victimize themselves over criticisms. Meanwhile, their boss is using his millions to do frivolous lawsuits and put others in financial ruin. I could literally be forced to foreclose and lose my home if I can't keep up with legal fees. She tags Starkiller and says Starkiller coward. Anissa responds and says, I love you, Casey. You're smart and you deserve so much more respect online. Ethan says, Kaceytron, you raised $44,000. You offered me $17,500. This leaves $27,000. Under no circumstances have you paid your lawyers $27,000. What were you planning on doing with the remaining money? Trying to catch a payday? I rejected her offer, obviously. But then, like, if that weren't bad enough, Casey tweets at some point, it's so funny seeing all these foot fungi feigning concern over my recreational drug use. I spend less than a fraction of what privileged crybaby Starkiller does on DoorDash orders. All the still existing H3 fans are just showing how incredibly hypocritical they are. I want to take time to also say that I'm praying for Olivia, for that Olivia girl. I hope that during this mental health break, she can take time to reflect on how she is devoid of morals and maybe get some. So Ethan sees these tweets from Kaceytron and just an act of like, just pettiness and like spite and personal spite, says Kaceytron's settlement is off the table. Good luck. just because Kaceytron made a comment that he didn't like, put out a tweet that he didn't like, he has now robbed her of the opportunity to settle with him. He doesn't want her to settle. No settlements for Kaceytron. There's also this other clip that I have right here from a video titled "Regarding My Lawsuit Against Frogan." This was uploaded on the H3 podcast highlights. Okay, Ethan was talking about Frogan like trying to not be served, etc. But at one point he says something where if anyone's like, well, why don't they just settle? Why don't they just settle? Ethan very explicitly took settlements off the table for these ladies.
These people, I'm coming for the maximum damages. You know. She reached out and actually played like was amicable and fair and like not turning this into some silly, pointless, wild goose chase, just wasting time. Then I'd be a lot more amendable to alternative settlements.
See that, Brogan? There you go. I'll give you a little tip, Brogan.
Who fucking who?
If you just tell Ethan that he's funny.
She did say that recently.
I know,
Honestly,
and I
dude,
remember how you reacted. And I'm
Ethan
just
is really
saying.
funny sometimes.
It didn't save her though. You think that I'll just drop it?
No, not just with that, but that's like,
You could butter me up.
yeah, he could be buttered, is what I'm trying to say.
Just like
he could
Trump.
definitely be buttered up.
He's the greatest, the funniest podcaster alive.
I hope you get PTSD.
Yeah.
So Frogan, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing it, but you really should just figure your shit out because in 1 week it is going to get real ugly for you. Real ugly.
Damn.
I think if she uses that money specifically to settle with you,
And just again, how strange it is, like not only to sue these people for something as stupid as damages for watching his YouTube video, but to just talk about it and gloat about it on a podcast and continually threaten them bit by bit, like veiled threats here and there. You know what I mean? Just trying to freak them out. The Whimsical Wanderer sent $5 and said, "Did you see my article? That's how the lawsuits will be stopped. There's been misinfo going around. All defendants can use the doctrine. Borda can too." Ooh, I had not had a chance to see the article yet. Can someone link it like on Discord, like easily for me to find? That way we can go in a little bit later and read it.
I think her career is done. I don't think there's any coming
What
back.
career?
Well, yeah, but still, that community is just part of it. I think it's over for her.
No,
I
that's-
mean, that would technically be using it for
Yeah,
illegal
I don't think it'd be fraud to
fees.
pay that money to me because
No, but people thought she was going to use it for legal funds to go against you, not to give it to you.
well, you're right, but but that's the ultimate irony in all of this, which I said from the beginning. Like, whenever people donate to these funds, I'm over the moon because that money I know is all going to come back to me. It is. It is all going to come back to me. You know. So, yeah, I think if she just straight up slided that money to me, then yeah, people want her to at least fight.
Ethan, wake up.
Which is kind of great because here's the folly in this whole thing. She opened these GoFundMes, took a bunch of money from all these people, but now she's beholden to them, and she has to fight this for.
Wait, did I miss the part where he says that there's no more settling? We're at 1350.
For all these people that donated.
If
So she just
that
takes
GoFundMe
all
just-
of it and gives it directly to me.
Would you accept that?
Yeah. I mean, she owes me more
There
than
you
that, though. She owes me more than that.
Oh, okay.
I'm garnishing.
All right. Well, you might have to negotiate it out a little bit, but there you go, Brogan. There's your get out of jail free card.
Honestly,
All you have
I,
to do is just rip off your fans.
I had space in my heart to let her off with like creative settlement offers and stuff.
Sure.
But at this point, I think I'm not settling with any of these people. I'm coming for the maximum damages. You know.
So at this point, this is after Frogan. This is after Frogan refused to get served or like tried to avoid getting served. Whatever he's talking about, he flat out says, "I no longer want to give these people the opportunity to settle. I'm coming for maximum damages, and in this case, the maximum damages is $150,000." We also saw the DMs that we saw the Instagram stories that he posted, literally rejecting Kaceytron's settlement of $17,000, and then telling her that the settlement is also off the table because she made a comment about Olivia and AB that he didn't like. So those are the reasons why Ethan is now rejecting Kaceytron's offers. So what the fuck is she to do? And then everyone else wants her on the fucking street.
And exclusively for legal expenses. None of these funds have been used for any personal expense. They have been used exclusively for my legal fees. These funds are not going to last much longer, given the needs of the litigation and the work that is being done to defend against Ethan Klein's lawsuit. In September, I made a settlement offer to Ethan for $17,500. This offer was publicly revealed by Ethan to his Instagram followers.
That's what we just looked at right now.
This settlement offer that I made was in no way, shape, or form an attempt to make a payday. It was because the looming threat of financial ruin is a stress that I would not wish on to anyone. My mother, father, and sister all struggle with disability and housing instability. They are my family and they depend on me. Just this month, like many other low-income Americans, my mother and disabled sister had their food stamps taken away. Under the current political climate, the future of funding for other assistance is uncertain.
So, I mean, these people are going through it. They're actually going through it. Their family was affected by the cuts to EBT and to SNAP benefits. And she's the one handling the responsibility. And literally, we just watched the video of Kaceytron crying like a week ago about this whole fucking situation. And here she is crying again. And this is what Ethan wants. This is what Ethan wants. He wants these people to feel desperate, to feel completely defeated, to be humiliated, and to be completely overwhelmed by hatred on the internet. We're going to go through some of the replies that my tweet got. But like, it's fucking insane. Just saying that Ethan should drop the lawsuits because it's ruining these people's lives. The amount of vitriol and the amount of hate that generates is honestly kind of fucking insane.
I cannot afford to fail them. I simply want this nightmare to be over so that I can go back to providing my family with my full support. Ethan Klein is suing me for $150,000, which is the maximum damages for malicious copyright infringement. I believe it is highly unlikely that a court would find me liable for copyright infringement at all, and certainly not malicious copyright infringement. My offer was tied to the maximum damages for normal copyright infringement, which has a maximum damage of $30,000.
Even that's fucking insane. Can you imagine charging someone $30,000 for watching a fucking YouTube video when the amount of damage is like how much ad revenue? Seriously, how much ad revenue did Kaceytron streaming the fucking content nuke siphon off from Ethan Klein? $12, $15 of missed ad revenue, and he wants $30,000. This was never about copyright. This was never about the lost out revenue. This is literally about punishing people that Snark promoted. I was part of that fucking list that they were like, hey, if you guys want to avoid watching it on Ethan's channel, you can watch it on these. I was part of that list. Ethan just wants to punish anyone that he sees had anything to do with tanking his podcast. His podcast is at 400,000 views. They can't sell any Teddy Glow to save their lives. By the way, Ethan, Ela, keep appealing to Asmongold, to Nick the Oreo, to that audience. I'm sure they're ordering a fuckload of Teddy Glow. And I'm sure their audience of dudes is ordering a lot of fucking Teddy Glow as well. So keep up with that. I'm sure that's all going great. Next time you start a new brand and the launch fucking flops, you don't have to wonder why it's flopping.
Considering it is unlikely there are any damages at all that I could have caused, even if I am found liable for copyright infringement, my offer of $17,500 felt very generous. For me, that is a lot of money, and it would have come directly from my own pocket.
It's an insane amount of money, but for Ethan, he probably owes his lawyer a lot more than that. So just to cover his lawyer for making him write these dumbass lawsuits, he's going to want more than $17,000, and it is a lot of money. To most Americans, to the vast majority of Americans who live paycheck to paycheck, who can't afford a $400 emergency, who can't afford to fucking change a car tire if they have a car emergency, yeah, $17,000 is a fuckload of money. But you know who it's not a lot of money to? It's not a lot of money to Ethan Klein. And he learned from the best. He learned from Papa Ryan Kavanaugh. Ryan Kavanaugh, who publicly spanked Ethan Klein and made him do a public apology and made him grovel on the internet, on his podcast, apologizing. That's what Ethan wants to do to supporters of Hassan, because Ethan was embarrassed, because Ethan was made to grovel. Let me see if I can find that apology, or at least part of it. Where is that thing? Let's try to see. Ah, there it is. Let's just take a second to remember a little bit.
And it's time to turn a leaf and to close the chapter with my dear friend, Ryan Kavanaugh.
And notice how he's doing the apology. He's being so sarcastic about it. He's trying to do like it's a play, and he's being all like, with my dear friend Ryan Kavanaugh, because he's trying to play it off like it's not serious, but This is pretty embarrassing for him. He went on a Ryan Kavanaugh tirade for like 2 fucking years. His whole set, his podcast set was decorated with pictures of Ryan Kavanaugh, frames of Ryan Kavanaugh, article frames of Ryan Kavanaugh, controversies Ryan Kavanaugh was involved in. Didn't he invite the guy like Brad the Bull who supposedly like slept with Ryan Kavanaugh's wife or some shit like onto his show? Like just insane shit. Insane, unhinged shit. And then he was forced to apologize on his podcast after having to settle and pay Ryan Kavanaugh a massive amount of money, etc., etc. This is what he wants to do to Kaceytron, Frogan, and Denims, and honestly to Hassan. Ideally, he would do this to Hassan. If Ethan could sue Hassan and avoid having to sue what he considers to be his proxies, he would sue Hassan directly. Would make Hassan pay money. Would make Hassan like make a public apology. But he can't do that. He can't do that. So to hurt Hassan, he's literally going after anyone he can hurt. He's going after the more vulnerable individuals who have no money. And deep down, Ethan hopes that Hassan is going to have to bail them out and pay out of his own pocket. He just wants Hassan to fucking feel the pain. And he wants people to be embarrassed and to grovel at his feet, just like he had to do to Ryan Kavanaugh.
We've come to an agreement, and we are parting ways. We are settling the matter amicably. And I have a statement that I've arranged. Excuse me. With my good friend that I would like to state for you now in all sincerity and to close the chapter and move right along.
It really does not look sincere. In all sincerity, I would like to present my sincerest apologies to Ryan. Like the whole thing seems like he's making fun of the situation. And then I guarantee if Kaceytron were to make an apology to Ethan, and if she were to do anything that seemed like where she wasn't crying, he would be like, she doesn't seem like she's sincere enough. I don't buy the apology. Look at his fucking apology to Ryan Kavanaugh. Oh, my dear audience, I would like to present. Look at this shit. He's not taking that shit seriously.
So here's my apology to Ryan Kavanaugh. I read to you now. To Ryan Kavanaugh, I want to offer my sincere and unreserved apology. At the time, I was led to believe you were behind a particular copyright lawsuit. Acting on that belief, I went on and attacked you publicly and persistently. In doing so, I failed to consider the personal impact of my actions. And I lost sight of the basic respect every person deserves, regardless of any dispute. That hits home, you know? I also understand that as a result, your Wikipedia page has been significantly altered to reflect you in a negative light. And I apologize for any involvement I had in that. I apologize for ever making statements that led anyone to believe you were involved in unethical or bad business dealings. And I now know that any of those things I may have spread were not true. I deeply regret ever elevating or emphasizing that false narrative, and it was wrong of me. And I apologize. Because of the attention I placed on you, I know that you and your family became the target of harassment and hate. And
look, I'm not out here to say that apologizing, if you do something wrong or if you say something wrong, yeah, you should apologize online. So I'm not here to criticize him for apologizing. But I'm just saying that I think how this affected him psychologically, he just wants to push that pain onto someone else now. He wants to push that embarrassment onto someone else. Some rich guy did it to him. Now he's the rich guy in the scenario, and he wants to do it to someone else.
Truly, none of them deserved any of that. The hurt that, was caused by my actions is something I take full responsibility for, and I am truly sorry for that. I also understand the harm that the negative social media and Wikipedia edits have placed on you and your business. And again, I apologize for my involvement I had in that. And I hope that any such issues can be retracted, right? And that you do not have to endure any further issues as a result of those actions. Truly. We have since come to peace, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to move forward. With this apology and with full respect, I ask that anybody who may have been acting on my behalf directly or indirectly stop immediately. Ryan and his family and his associates should be left alone now for good. And I truly mean that, guy. I mean everything I'm saying. But
Ethan did encourage the harassment of Ryan Kavanaugh. Made the website, does Ryan Kavanaugh look like Harvey Weinstein? All sorts of fucking shit. People were tanking his Wikipedia. He kept like wink, wink, like, hey, don't harass Ryan Kavanaugh. Whatever you do, wink, wink. And then it was kind of wild. It was kind of insane. So anyway, we don't need to finish the rest of the apology, but keep in mind, this is definitely playing into Ethan's decision to want to sue these people, to want them to apologize, want them to beg for him to settle, all that sort of shit. That's what our boy wants. All right, let's continue listening to Kaceytron.
it. On this note, I want to clarify that any donations that I have received are being used for my legal defense costs against Ethan, nothing else. These funds will not be a part of any settlement offer. In the event that we were to settle, I will take responsibility for any settlement, and any remaining funds would go towards the remaining parties that are also being sued by Ethan. I have no intention to keep any money from this fundraising for any personal use whatsoever. If we are unable to reach a settlement soon,
So again, this is just because Ethan was accusing her of like only wanting to give him $17,000 and accusing her of wanting to keep the rest of the money, even though she's saying that clearly this is going for legal fees.
this could stretch all the way to December of next year and cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawyers' fees through the end of the trial. To be clear, I don't make anywhere near this kind of money. Like most Americans, I live paycheck to paycheck. I do not have any personal savings. Over the years, I've been stretched very thin because I help support multiple family members. I want to make it clear to Ethan, I will gladly set aside my ego and do whatever is necessary and consistent with my principles to resolve this matter and get back to what matters most to me, helping my family in this devastating financial climate.
So, honestly, after having said that, she literally just said, I'm willing to put my ego aside and do whatever is necessary to make this matter correct. So, I mean, honestly, if Ethan doesn't address this like on his next podcast and gives her the opportunity to settle this matter, then he is definitely just a hopeless piece of shit that is literally just out here to torture this fucking girl and to see her lose everything, because she's literally saying everything you want to hear. I will set my ego aside. She's telling she's going to apologize. She's willing to apologize publicly. Isn't it what you want? If Ethan refuses this completely gracious offer from Kaceytron, then he's completely indefensible. Not that he's not indefensible now. He's pretty much indefensible. But there's a half a percentage in there that might still be human.
Stretched very thin because I help support multiple family members. I want to make it clear to Ethan, I will gladly set aside my ego and do whatever is necessary and consistent with my principles to resolve this matter and get back to what matters most to me, helping my family in this devastating financial climate.
And what she's going through is extremely relatable. How many Americans, how many of you guys are taking care of your families? Our parents are getting older. Here in Lebanon, our families went through a devastating financial crisis. Most families in Lebanon lost everything. The middle class was decimated overnight. So it's on a lot of us to take care of our families and our parents when we normally maybe should not have that responsibility. And the U.S. right now is going through a massive economic. They're on the brink of an economic depression, inflation, stagnant wages. Unemployment rates are going up, etc. So she's like the every woman right now. Ethan Klein, millionaire living in a gated community in Los Angeles, who became rich off of fucking podcasting, is like suing at every woman who's out there fucking hustling every single day of her life because he doesn't like what she had to say about him and his fucking content nuke.
I feel deeply guilty even asking for community funding during such difficult times because I realize I'm asking for help from people who are also facing financial hardships.
And this is so sweet of her to just recognize, like, she knows that her audience are also like not fucking millionaires. She knows that she's being supported by people that are going through the same thing that she's going through. And it's not on them to have to make Ethan Klein fucking richer. And that's something that he fucking celebrates. He's so happy. He laughs at the fact that, like, oh, look at them raising all this money that's just going to end up lining my own pockets eventually. All this money's coming straight back into my bank account. That's what he always says. He said it in the clip that we were just watching earlier. So he's taking that money away from like hardworking fucking Americans who just want to support their creator that they like and they don't want to see go into financial fucking ruin. He enjoys taking their money. He enjoys taking your money. And his fans and his audience that are celebrating this lawsuit enjoy it too. They're happy to see another wealth transfer from the poor to the rich for a frivolous fucking lawsuit where I guarantee that Ethan Klein lost no fucking money off of this fucking off of her streaming his video. How much money does she owe him in lost ad revenue? $15? Fuck, I'll cover that shit.
Since this lawsuit was announced, it has resulted in a barrage of hate and harassment that has been incredibly mentally taxing. Every day across all of my social media, I am relentlessly reminded that my life could be ruined, that myself and my family could wind up living on the streets, that Ethan is going to foreclose on my home. All realities that feel very real to me right now. and all being used by hateful onlookers to push me into killing myself.
Honestly, she's not even fucking exaggerating. I have never seen, and I repeat, I've never seen in my life online someone that gets as much hate as Kaceytron. Anytime she posts anything, we're gonna look at some of the responses to this video. Even when I tweet about it, a complete fucking stranger, someone who doesn't know Kaceytron, someone who has nothing to do with the situation, me tweeting about the situation, being like, hey, why is she being sued? Are these lawsuits necessary? Shouldn't they be dropped? The amount of hate that I got in the comments between yesterday and today is frankly unimaginable. It's fucking insane. You know what I mean? If I weren't a well-adjusted person for the most part and comfortable with who I am as a person and like confident in the values that I believe in, you know, that like people shouldn't be sued into oblivion and be made homeless for watching a fucking content nuke on YouTube. Those are my values, you know? It's insane.
The thought of dealing with the constant doxing, threats to my life, and harassment for another year is extremely dark. This treatment wears on a person, and it has left me feeling extremely drained, isolated, and depressed. Moving forward, I'll continue to provide any updates on any future developments. It may end up being a long road, and I'm going to be working hard to keep up with the legal fees every month for as long as is necessary if this litigation is not settled soon. I've changed my GoFundMe goal to better reflect the cost of this sort of litigation. Again, these funds are exclusive.
So yeah, it went up from like 150K or 100K to $250,000, which, I mean, again, dude, Americans love lawsuits. They love litigation. These lawyers are making fucking bank, dude. It's fucking insane. The fact that so much money is being spent on lawyers for something so fucking stupid just because Ethan Klein's ego got hurt. Oh, he's making it about copyright. He's here to protect copyright. My fucking ass, man.
Exclusively for my lawyer fees. This is not money that will go towards any sort of settlement or to any of my personal expenses. Please consider donating or even signing up for a monthly donation. Check out any of my links below. You can also support by tuning into any of my live streams and social media. Even just some positivity in the sea of negativity means everything right now. Thank you all so much for listening to my side of the story. And again, thank you all for the love and support.
And you can see the tears streaming down her face. Obviously very emotional. I can only imagine the position that she's in and having to talk about a lawsuit that is threatening to ruin you financially. I mean, guys, if I were in her shoes right now, if I were being sued by Ethan Klein for $150,000, I would be fucking shitting myself. How would I be able to afford that shit? I lost my job like a few months ago. Streaming right now is the only reason that I can even survive. And can you imagine me asking people to donate so I can pay hundreds of thousands in like lawyer fees and whatever the fuck? Like, I wouldn't even have the heart to ask anyone to donate for something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine how fucking terrifying it is. And like rent, and I don't know if Kaceytron owns a home in the States or if they're like renting, but like property prices in the States are like fucking insanely inflated. Like, can you imagine supporting your whole family at her age, recently got married, and having to worry about having to pay someone off? Forget the lawyer fees that she has to cover. She potentially might have to pay Ethan like damages or whatever. Not if a judge deems that she needs to pay Ethan Klein $150,000, that means that the legal system is even more broken than I thought it was.
Okay, that's all I had to say. And yeah, obviously I'm reading from a script. Like, obviously it was something that I wrote. And I don't know, like, I don't want to be like criticized for like coming on camera and like crying and shit, because it's not something that I want to do. Like, I've been put in this position where this is what I have to do to survive. And like, I'm doing this knowing that it's going to result in like the whole fucking hate brigade, you know, like Asmongold, XQC.
Oh yeah, I knew about Asmongold. All I did was quote tweet you, and Asmongold came for me. It's like saying Bloody Mary 3 times. He just fucking popped up. You tweet about Kaceytron and support, Asmongold will show up in your replies. You're right, lady.
All of them are going to go live and make a video and make fun of me and laugh about how, you know, I'm going to lose everything and all this other messed up shit. And they're going to further profit off of my pain. You know, it just really sucks the position that I've been put in. And I just hope that I can move on from it soon. But if I can't, then I'm prepared to, keep on moving forward and keep fighting. But in order to do that, it's like I have to make myself emotionally vulnerable.
Imagine if my response to this were, well, you shouldn't have watched the content nuke online and told people not to watch it on H3. Fuck around and find out. Can you imagine a fucking human being after watching this video having that reaction? Well, you'll be shocked to know that Twitter is full of these reactions, folks. Apparently that's a normal reaction to have in the United States nowadays.
But yeah, I can kind of answer some questions. Really should have settled immediately. Good luck. You're saying that, but that was never like really an option. People keep on saying things that they have no clue what they're talking about. So yeah, you should really like keep away from just saying things that you don't really know what you're talking about.
Instead of suing these people, Ethan should have started by sending them DMs on Instagram. Like, yo, you guys did this. You guys said this in your live stream, something which I find very questionable and something very damaging. Let's talk about it. Let's have an honest, blunt fucking conversation about this, because I might want to consider litigation and I want you to take this seriously, but let's have a conversation, like something. I feel like you just jumped straight into the lawsuits and like, I need you to apologize. I need you to beg and grovel. I need you to cry. I need you to do this. I need you to set, like, my God, dude.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, most of the people who make fun of Kaceytron, they're like, you're getting what you deserve, you piece of shit. Go get a real job. All of these people, I guarantee you, 95% of them do not like engage with the opposite sex. They do not have girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. They have no connection. They have no love with other people, because I guarantee you, like, look, even if Denny, okay, agreed that, for example, these people did something wrong and they're like, yeah, they reacted to the video in a potentially unethical way. Do you think my girlfriend would still respect me if I'm online going like, you fuck around and find out, you fucking crazy bitch? Like, my girlfriend would leave the living shit out of me in a fucking instant if that's how I speak to women online, if that's how I think about women online, if I celebrate other women being potentially put into financial fucking ruin. These people do not know the touch of a woman. They do not know the scent of a woman. I fucking guarantee it. No woman would fucking... I mean, some women might want to surround themselves with men like that, but how could you be respected by anyone when that's how you talk to someone online? Anyway, so that's her video. We're just going to scroll down gently. We're gently going to scroll down and just read some of the replies. Okay. Oh no, the streamers that I consistently talk shit about unprompted just so I can get virtue points with my audience don't care that I'm facing consequences that, while definitely overkill, are directly brought on by my malicious actions against another streamer. We love you, Casey. Stay strong. We got some friends right here saying some nice things. But here we go. She Fafo. There we go. She Fafo, folks. She fucked around and found out. Much deserved pain. She's got to lose her home and her family's got to be on the streets. And her sick parents shouldn't get their treatment because she watched a YouTube video. Johnny's laughing his ass off. Your boy Kami says, funny how all of a sudden it's woe is me. Again, a little bit of love. Some people are donating. Let's scroll down to the bottom. More laughter. Launch a meme coin. You are in a lawsuit? Ha ha ha, Fafo. Do you think your family will stick by your actions after you are forced into bankruptcy? Lamau. I feel bad that your family is suffering because of your actions, but these are the consequences of what you've done. Hopefully you learn from this when it's over. I don't need you to explain that you haven't done anything. I've seen a lot of tweets over the years. Good luck. Oh, because she put out some tweets that Miss Vixen doesn't like. She deserves to lose everything. And the way these people talk about it, like, it is legitimately concern trolling. I feel bad that your family is suffering because of your actions, but these are the consequences of what you've done. They're talking as if she fucking raped someone. Can you fucking believe it? Like, paying $150,000 in damages, that's if you, like, fucking embezzle someone. If you fucking rip someone off. If you fucking, I don't know, man, lend someone money, then break their fucking knees. I don't fucking know, dude. But $150,000 for watching a YouTube video and being like, well, these are the consequences of your actions. You people are fucking psychotic. All of the people writing these fucking comments on Twitter can't afford a fucking $400 emergency. They're all living paycheck to paycheck, and they're being like, well, you fucked around. Find out. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? And this is the audience that Ethan and Hila want to sell Teddy Glow to. Hey, Ethan, why is nobody buying Teddy Glow? I don't want to do this anymore. Ethan, I want to stop. I want to close Teddy Fresh. Oh, really? Teddy Glow's not going great? All the models that worked with you on Teddy Glow aren't happy and they're now disowning the whole fucking collaboration. You have to post shit with Rich Lux. You have to invite Rich Lux and Harley Mornstein onto your fucking podcast because no one else wants to fucking collaborate with you. And you're confused. Hey, Nick DeOrio, who hosts a show called Ultimate Rep Review. I watch your show all the time. I'm Hila Klein. I love your shit. Why isn't Teddy Glow selling? Oh my God. The girlies don't want to buy my makeup? No, they don't want to fucking buy your makeup. Because these fucking guys are your audience now. This is your audience. This is who you're trying to sell Teddy Glow to. Let's see. Look at this. The real Tomby. Actions have consequences. You thought you were exempt. May the teaching commence and the lesson be learned. Yes, she needs to learn not to watch YouTube, not to react to YouTube videos like everyone else fucking does online. Okay, did she maybe say something? What is it that Kaceytron said? Thank you for like watching it. We're gonna watch the video later. She might have said something that some people could be like, hey, that's copyright. Okay, maybe she said that. Does she need to lose her fucking home for fucking doing that? Can't she just talk to Ethan and like maybe take down her video? Maybe pay him the $10 and missed out ad revenue that he got? But no, because he doesn't give a fuck about copyright. He just wants to embarrass these people. He wants to hurt these people. He wants to teach people a lesson. He wants to silence criticism. He wants to scare people into criticizing him and making videos of him and reacting to videos because you're going to think twice. Like, but if I react to this H3 video, he might sue me. And if I criticize him, he might do this. And if I tweet about him, I'm going to get harassed by 700 fucking people. Mustafa Jab sends $2 and says, been ride sharing due to a job loss for 4 months. Damn, Mustafa. Guys, W's in the chat for Mustafa. If anybody knows, Mustafa, what do you do? Maybe someone in the chat can help you find a gig somewhere. And Mustafa, stop. Don't send me any super chats if you're out here struggling to find a job. So, Mustafa, thank you. Much appreciated. That $2, I cherish it from the bottom of my heart, but if you're struggling right now, don't be sending me any money. All right, much love. Thank you so much for being so considerate. Ethan is a fucking scumbag for this. Anyways. Little old me, folks. Little old me innocently put out my own little quote, dude. I was like, you know what? I want to show some support for Kaceytron. I'm constantly talking about dropping the lawsuits because as a fallen H3 fan, I genuinely think that if Ethan drops the lawsuits, it could help him reclaim some of his lost audience, or at least make some of his lost audience more eager to hear him out. At the very least, give him a chance. If he wants to explain his Zionism or like why he's not a Zionist, maybe we'll give him an ear. If he at least starts by dropping the lawsuits, the bare minimum. That's where I'm coming from. I want to see these creators not have to go through financial ruin for a frivolous fucking stupid lawsuit. And part of me still wanted to give Ethan and Hila advice on like how to help their podcast. Not that I give a shit anymore. Anyway, so here's my tweet. Ethan Klein just dropped the lawsuits. You are ruining these people's lives and your own life in the process. End this fucking cycle once and for all. Jesus Christ, man. Innocent enough, right? You'd think I said I support rape or something. Well, 818 replies, including Asmongold. We'll get to Asmongold in a second. 2.4k likes with 818 replies. So like, you know, the amount of the ratio is not great, folks. 374k views. Let's scroll down to some answers, to some replies. Respawn says, you sound like a potential homosexual. From the river to the... So what does he say? He is such a demon. No house and negative $17,000 is a pretty good outcome. Au contraire, keep it going, Ethan. It's the right thing to do. Nah, I like accountability better. That's the goal. Lol, nope. Okay, this person's pro. I didn't even think these were still going. Egos seem to just not quit. Rach, he says, cry more. Ark says she probably shouldn't have fucked around. Now she's in the find out stage. Victor says, damn, it's almost like they tried ruining his life and his family or something. She's sad, so drop the lawsuits. Twin Mama says, wah, a female is crying, and so I must don my simp armor and defend the poor defenseless woman. Pat says, why? They had no problem doing what they did. They even bragged about it. Emerald Apple says actions have consequences and she needs to take accountability. Ah, yes, she needs to lose her home, go into financial ruin, see her family be completely destroyed because she reacted to Ethan Klein's video, and she needs to take accountability. How silly of me. I'm a dumb Lebanese guy. We don't have all these rules here. The legal system, we actually, I mean, it's kind of like a jungle here in Lebanon. We should be more like you guys are in America. Sue people for $150,000 for reacting to their shitty little YouTube video and ruin their lives. That's great. Don't you guys just love being Americans? By the way, how's your country doing right now? Brad6739 sends $10 and says, shout out to DNW and especially DNW girlfriend. Obviously a great woman behind this man. Thank you, Brad. Of course, only the best woman is behind this man. She's the only reason, you know, I can present myself half the time. But yes, she would leave the shit out of me if this is how I spoke to women or spoke about women on the internet or in person or anywhere. And thank you so much for the generous dono. Let's read some more. And these are not even replies to Kaceytron. These are replies to me. These people are talking to me just for taking her side. Luderis VTuber says, nah, this is peak FAFO, and I will enjoy every second of it. What's a huge liability says, what cycle would it end? It would end the cycle of Ethan Klein crashing out and him going after people and then going after him and then him going after them and then him going after him and then him complaining that he can't launch Teddy Glow and that no one's watching his podcast and that he and his wife can't collaborate with anyone anymore and that his crew keeps on quitting. That is the cycle that it would end. People would just kind of go back to peaceful times where Ethan does the show that he wants, goofs and gaffs. Everyone else talks about whatever the fuck they were talking about. I can go back to talking about cringe Lebanese TikTokers and how Israelis are trying to invade my country. That's what I can talk about. I don't have to talk about Ethan anymore. That is the cycle that it would end. Actions have consequences, and it's long overdue that people learned a lesson. Hashtag don't be a dick, folks. Poops and Giggles says Team Ethan all the way. Aaron Nixon says, or don't do things that get you into lawsuits. Pretty simple. Actions have consequences. So to all of these people getting sued, this is what I need to just realize. To all of these people, getting sued for $150,000 is completely reasonable. It is completely and entirely reasonable because people broke the law. Hey, there's a law. You broke the law. Whatever happens, not our fucking problem. You deserve it. Whether it's losing your home, having to pay 150 grand, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. You broke the law. Fuck around and find out. All that sort of shit. Apollo says, no, absolutely not. These people need to be taught a lesson that constantly lying about people online with zero solid evidence and zero accountability is not okay. But Apollo, that's not what she's being sued for. She's being sued for copyright infringement, you dumb fuck. He just hates her takes on Twitter. Like she needs to get sued for all these bad takes that she can't prove on Twitter. That's not what the lawsuit is about, Apollo. Or is it? Because you would think Ethan wants you to think that this is about copyright. Ethan wants you to think that he's protecting copyright, and he's trying to set an important precedent on the internet, even though he's setting a terrible fucking precedent. And now, anytime someone fucking reacts to anything, they're going to sue. If Ethan were to win this lawsuit, which I have no idea if he's going to fucking win. I'm not a fucking legal expert, but the precedent that he would be setting if he were to win is that now anytime someone criticizes someone online, the person they're criticizing is going to try to sue them for copyright infringement, try to prove that they somehow siphon views off from their video to his, to try to hurt his channel, etc. And it's going to completely change criticism online. It's going to maybe even destroy video reactions online. That is because Ethan is choosing to go after this fucking really stupid and frivolous lawsuit. Gazma says she knew what she was doing and now she's paying for it. No, they wouldn't if the roles were reversed. They deserve to go bankrupt. And that's, by the way, MAGA for life. They deserve to go. Ethan Klein, I hope you enjoy selling Teddy Glow to MAGA for life. Fafo, again, not Ethan should cook them all. Fafo, cry more. The losses will continue until morale improves. Nope, accountability needs to be served. I mean, this is just insane. This is just insane. Rob says that's objectively false. You are misrepresenting the facts. My guy, okay, you can even say that they were trying to siphon off views. How much in damage did Kaceytron cause Ethan Klein by siphoning off views to her live stream? Is it $150,000 worth of damages? You fucking idiot. That's what we're dealing with, folks. So anyways, these are just responses from like random people to my tweet. But then Asmongold got involved. Before we get into Asmongold, actually, let's just get into Asmongold. This is what Asmongold had to say. He responds, he says, all you do is talk shit about Ethan. Why would he look for your approval? Don't believe me? Search this and read the posts yourself. From Do Not Worry Pod. Ethan, you're not asking in good faith. You want to lie about and misrepresent someone while portraying yourself as a victim. Okay, first of all, how the fuck am I portraying myself as a victim? You fucking idiot. Anyways. How many fucking followers does this guy have? 1.1 million followers, by the way. Cool. Okay. So I respond by saying, my approval is irrelevant at this point, but I used to be a huge fan and H3 inspired my entire show. If he drops the lawsuits, I would absolutely give him credit. Not sure how I'm making myself out to be a victim in this situation. So yeah, why would he look for your approval? He doesn't need my approval, but the whole point of me criticizing Ethan is, Zach, that I was a massive fan of H3. I literally started the show as somewhat of a Lebanese version of the H3 podcast. I've spoken about this many times. I was a massive Teddy Fresh customer. I have a whole stack of fucking Teddy Fresh that I've shown off all the time. So Ethan doesn't need my approval, but if Ethan is interested in the insight of a fallen fan and why they stopped watching his channel and why they stopped financially supporting him, he might want to listen to what I have to say. It's entirely up to him. But he doesn't need my approval. But if he's smart, he'd fucking listen to a fallen fan, someone who actually used to who has spent thousands of dollars supporting his fucking brand. Okay? So, unless your audience is out there fucking buying Teddy Fresh, why would he fucking listen to you? Asmongold. So anyways. And yeah, why am I making myself out to be the victim? I have no idea. He says, honest question. Do you think that the girls he's suing uploaded his video in good faith? And I said, they definitely reacted to the video to criticize Ethan, but I do not believe they reacted to it with the express purpose of stealing views and revenue. Frogan was a big part of the content nuke, and I'm pretty sure so was Denims, so of course they would watch it. Ethan has personal reasons to sue these exact people. And I think I tweeted something else out that he did not read. I said, Ethan blames Denims for CPS, but he can't sue her for that. Frogan is Hassan's mod, and he thinks she's kind of the reason the whole Palestine debate popped off with him and Hassan, because ever since when Ethan unfollowed Frogan and then she tweeted about it, he kind of blames that to be the start of everything. But like, again, by hurting Frogan, by going for Frogan, he's indirectly going after Hassan. And Kaceytron was a big Destiny antagonist, and that's playing into that too. And again, Kaceytron was part of that list that was on the Snark like subreddit, being like, hey, if you guys don't want to watch the content nuke on Ethan's channel, you guys can go after these. So that is why he's blaming these people in particular. So then Zach, or Asmongold, responds by saying, how do you reconcile that with the fact that they, on video, explicitly said the exact thing you're saying they didn't do? You can look it up and see for yourself. Now, I did go back and watch Ethan's original video announcing the lawsuits, which I think we're going to rewatch together really quickly a little bit later, just to get all our facts in order. But yes, at this point, having rewatched the video, they do say some things that could be interpreted a certain way, but is it like, but Frogan, I think honestly, just barely, like Frogan, I think is the weakest case that Ethan has. But it's not like all that fucking explicit to me, but you could, I'm not a fucking legal expert. Ethan might be able to prove that. Maybe Denims and Kaceytron were trying to siphon off views in the way they worded what they said. Sure, let's go with that for a second, okay? So I said, not that explicit to me, and they're far from the only ones who watched it, often providing more commentary than other streamers such as yourself. Regardless, suing someone for $150,000 and celebrating their financial ruin for a video reaction is slightly insane. Also, RIP Asmondat, I just wanted to throw that in there because, look, I've never watched a lot of Asmongold. All I've seen of Asmongold were like random clips here and there on Twitter, usually of him saying unhinged shit, either insulting Palestinians and saying that they deserve to be genocided, etc. But I did watch his video talking about his dad a few weeks ago. It was like a 20 or 30 minute video of him talking about his ordeal of helping his dad, because I've heard a lot of nice things about his dad. I've heard that his dad is like a really cool dude and part of like a lot of online communities and part of Hassan's community, etc. So I just wanted to throw that in there because, to be fair, I don't know how many opportunities I'm ever going to have in my life to interact with Asmongold. So I figured, hey, his dad seemed like a nice guy. He just lost his dad. Just out of mutual respect, I put that in there because his dad does seem nice. And the video that he put out about taking care of his dad was pretty like relatable. So, you know. Despite our differences, we can still be human beings with one another. So that was my response. And then he responds, sorry, what happened? He said, they said that they were doing it to specifically deprive him of revenue of views. How is that not explicit to you? They did not say that we're specifically watching him to deprive him of views and revenue. But again, they don't care. That audience doesn't give a fuck of the nuance of the situation. By the way, Brad6738 has just become a member. Welcome to the Do Not Warriors, Brad. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We very much appreciate you. So did I think I responded to this. They said that they were doing exactly to deprive him of revenue. How's that not explicit? I said, Zach, he doesn't give a shit about copyright. He's just getting back at them because he thinks they tanked his podcast. And you have personal beef with Kaceytron, so you're enjoying this for your own reasons. And we're going to get into his personal beef with Kaceytron. Like, apparently, she blames him for, like, the death of his mom or something like that. I don't want to get into that necessarily, but we're going to listen to what... to Asmongold's reaction, but he has personal beef with Kaceytron. He fucking hates Kaceytron, clearly. So to him, this is great. This is entertainment. So Zach, he doesn't give a shit about copyright. He's just getting back at them because he thinks they tanked his podcast. And you have personal beef with Kaceytron, so you're enjoying this for your own reasons. There's another way to solve this. He even refused settling with Kaceytron. Again, I think I'm being fucking fair as shit. I think I'm making some pretty good fucking points. Very common sense. Very normal fucking things to say. You know what I mean? But again, I'm being fucking gaslit by these fucking psychopaths that I'm some sort of piece of shit. Which is insane. Then Zach says, which is the most revealing fucking tweet he could have said. And this just exposes the whole game. This reply is the exact reason I hope Ethan sues them into poverty. Can you imagine saying that about 3 of your peers? Like, there are 3 streamers, they work in your same fucking industry. You might run into them at events. You might see Frogan here, or you might like run into Denim somewhere at some fucking point, and you're out there saying that I hope that Ethan sues them into poverty. Lying, gaslighting, and then hostility when pressed. You know what you're doing, and everyone else does too. You insult everyone's intelligence by engaging in such obvious manipulation. And then I respond by saying suing them into poverty for watching his dumb fucking video. Nice. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to wish upon someone. You clowns are just enjoying the show. And to be honest, I think getting into this Twitter thread and this beef with Asmongold, despite all the hate that it's going to get me and the negative attention that it's going to get me, it's probably on Reddit. It's already all over fucking Twitter. I think it was worth it to get this tweet out of Asmongold, even though he's literally said these things in the past, but seeing it written is also quite different. This reply is the exact reason I hope Ethan sues them into poverty. This just goes to show that this man just needs a fucking girlfriend. Asmongold, you just need a fucking girlfriend. I don't know if he's dating anyone right now. He might be. If he is, she's not the right person. She's not teaching him the right things. She's not a normal fucking woman. Because no well-adjusted person who actually respects women would speak of them this way. Or his peers, not even women, just his peers. Like, are you really telling me that the only way for them to learn not to potentially be like, hey, instead of watching the video on this channel, watch it on my channel? You think the best way for them to learn not to do that is to sue them into oblivion for $150 fucking thousand and ruin their fucking lives? Is that what you think? Nola Magnolia sends 100 Egyptian pounds. Thank you so much, Nola. That's so generous and so sweet. Thank you so much. So he doesn't have a girlfriend, huh? Yeah, I'm not shocked. And I'm not saying that because I'm calling him like ugly or smelly or that like cockroaches walk all over him while he's streaming. Everyone knows about his hygiene shit. I'm not gonna get into that. Eamon's animation made like an amazing Asmongold video back in the day. So we don't need to talk about the obvious things that are wrong with this guy. But just the way you think is repulsive. You could be the most beautiful human being on the planet, but the way you think is completely fucking repulsive. And it might have gotten you rich, though, so, I mean, he doesn't care, right? Does he give a shit that he's lonely? No, he's got all the money in the world. So being a piece of shit, rotten individual, you know, has made him feel like he doesn't need the touch of a woman.